Hi everybody, it's your girl Kia Unique and I'm back with another video. So today I wanted to bring a question to you, and I wanted us all to sit and really reflect and just be real. You know, I'm on this healing journey, man, and I think that it is very interesting the layers that you uncover. Like, I feel like I'm an onion, and I feel like over time, as I tap more in with self, I find myself uncovering these layers about myself that I didn't even know were there. And I think that a lot of times we get stuck on our healing journey because it just kind of feels like we're like in this stagnant place. And I feel like sometimes that comes from putting yourself in victim mode, because what a lot of people don't talk about is this healing journey requires accountability. It requires you to look at certain traumas, that other people have placed on you, but also in the ways in which you've acted out of those traumas, and you have been the one to hurt others as well, and you've been the one to pass trauma onto other people due to the trauma that you are already facing, you know? And so the question that I want to ask is, in what ways have you been the villain? Yeah, that's not a pretty question. That's not a cute question. That's not an easy little, journal prompt, honey. That's a question that you gotta sit and you gotta cry through and you gotta think about, and you really have to reflect. And, I think oftentimes it's very easy to point the finger, and it's very easy to say, like, okay, this person did this to me, that person did that to me. And that's not to dismiss what you've gone through, right? Because you're on this healing journey for a reason, because people have hurt you and have left you scarred, so give yourself compassion and give yourself grace, that you're healing through that. But I know for me, I'm not perfect. I'm a flawed human being. And I know that you aren't perfect. And you are a flawed human being. And I know that sometimes when we get stuck in that survival mode, or when we get stuck in like trauma responses, we oftentimes end up becoming the villain. We oftentimes end up passing hurt onto other people by accident, not even meaning to do it sometimes, And so I really, really challenge you to ask yourself, in what ways have you been the villain in someone else's story? In what ways have you mistakenly passed trauma onto other people? In what ways have you, acted out of anger, out of sadness, in what ways have you tried to get revenge, and, instead of just letting the universe take care of it? In what ways have you, you know, um, not shown up for people, because no one ever showed up for you. So you felt like, well, I'm not going to show up for others. You know, it's going to be fuck them before they can say fuck me, you know? And it's not about being hard on yourself. It's not about, you know, shitting on yourself. It's not about being mean to yourself. And I feel like sometimes, especially when it comes to like shadow work and things like that, and uncovering these different layers of us, I feel like it's very hard to look at ourselves. It's very hard to see ourselves everything in the totality, right? Because sometimes we have parts of ourselves that we don't want uncovered. We have parts of ourselves and parts of our stories that we don't want people to know. We don't even want to know it, right? There's things that we've done that we don't even want to admit to ourselves, right? There's certain times where we've acted out of character, and it's like, damn, like I'm kind of ashamed of that, and so we just push it in a corner and act like it's not even there. And I feel like that does more damage than it does when you're on this healing journey. Like, there are no shortcuts. And so I feel like, it's okay to take accountability, and it's okay to look at yourself in your fullness and accept yourself in your fullness. And it's okay to realize that you have not always been perfect, right? You're not always the victim. You're not always the one who life is beating up. Sometimes you out there throwing hands with life too. You know, sometimes you got your defenses up and you got your guards up with people who are there, and they're meant to water you, right? And they're meant to love you. But because you've been hurt, it's like you walk around with this chip on your shoulder, you know? And so I just really, really challenge you to ask yourself, in what ways have you been the villain? And when you can look at yourself and recognize that you haven't always been the saint, I feel like it helps you kind of look at people who have done you wrong, and you kind of can have a different um, type of like compassion for them, right? And that's not to say that, you have to just forgive everything overnight, right? That's not to say that this one question is just going to be your end all be all and is going to solve everything. But I feel like it's a good step. And I feel like it forces you to be real with yourself, and it forces you to have a more realistic outlook on life and on choices and on why certain people have done the things that they've done. Because that's the hard part about being on this healing journey, is you having to heal. And in order to heal, you have to come to a certain understanding of like, okay, this happened to me. This person did this to me. I experienced this. Why did I experience this? What led me up to here? Like, it's a whole entire process. And I feel like you don't get anywhere by just being in victim mode. You don't get anywhere by just saying, pointing the finger and saying like, oh, this person did this, that person did this. Like, really look at yourself and ask yourself, in what ways have I not been a saint? In what ways have I not always shown up in my best? In what ways have I mistakenly passed my trauma onto other people? So that was just really on my heart, and it's something that I've also been reflecting on for these past couple days. And I really just wanted to pass this baton, or this question, to my YouTube family, because I consider y'all family. I'm very appreciative of any and everyone who watches my videos and who taps in with me. So yes, to anyone out there, I really, really challenge you to ask yourself, in what ways have you been the villain? In what ways have you not always shown up in your best character? You know? And then once you can recognize in the ways that you've acted out of hurt, and you've acted out of mistrust for the universe, maybe you can then pass that compassion after you pass it to yourself, right? After you give yourself compassion and understanding, maybe that'll help you, give more understanding and compassion to the ones who have not always, you know, been the best version of themselves for you in your life. So, yes, y'all. I love y'all. I appreciate you. And I pray that you are having an amazing day. And I pray that this video made you sit down and think a little bit. And it made you sit down and kind of, question yourself and and question your journey and question your life. And yeah, so I love you guys. I appreciate you guys so much, and I pray that you have an amazing day.